So Kendall, you're in Rich Central, South Suburbs, and you're starting to really develop, but yet you don't have the notoriety of some of the other players in the area.
Right.
How did you deal with that?
Well, it was tough, and let me tell you guys also, I wasn't the only one that worked hard. Steve worked extremely hard, defensive player of the year in the Big Ten. I mean, he's being humble too, probably the best defensive guard in college basketball our junior and senior year. So, he worked extremely hard too. But going back to the notoriety and everything, I listened. Actually, Steve and I visited Michigan State together.
Yep.
Before we chose Illinois, and Michigan State was really recruiting me hard. And then when I chose Illinois, I can remember Judd Heathcote calling me and saying, you're going to go there to Illinois and you're going to sit on the bench. All of those blue chippers they got Steve Bardo, they got Larry Smith, they got Nick Anderson, they got Irvin Small, Tony Weisinger, Glenn Blackwell. You're never going to play, but for some reason, I felt that Illinois was where I needed to be.
Right.
Even though I enjoyed myself at Michigan State, if I had gone to Michigan State, I probably would have had a very good career too.
Yep.
But it was my home school. I knew you guys.
Yep.
I knew Nick Anderson. We'd all played against each other in high school. And, I didn't care about whether everybody got notoriety. I just knew that eventually, if I worked hard, that I could overcome all that.
Sure.
And that's it. And that's exactly what happened.
And so for the noise that you guys are hearing, these are our kids having fun in the background. So no set stage. We're blessed to be in Kendall's house. So you're going to get natural sound. So don't trip. There ain't nothing wrong with the video. It's just the kids having a good time. And so Kendall, I remember you coming from the South Suburbs. Mm-hmm. Phil Henderson was also in the South Suburbs of Crete. God rest his soul. He's no longer with us. He was getting more notoriety.
Yeah.
And you guys used to play against each other. How did you approach that situation?
Well, he was actually, and Phil and I were friends, but, I remember we all went to 5-star camp.
Yep.
Okay, actually, it's the first time I saw Steve.
Yep. And we were teammates.
With
Rex
Chapman.
That's right.
So we went to 5-star in Pittsburgh, and I made the All-Star team out of nowhere. Steve made the All-Star team. Rex made the All-Star team. Ramil Robinson.
I forgot Ramil was there. That's right.
Derek Coleman, J.R. Reed, all these guys were at that camp. And that's really when I first burst on the scene. And Phil Henderson actually made the All-Star team too. And we were in the same conference as high school players. Mm-hmm. So whenever I used to go against Phil, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
I actually outplayed Phil our senior year, and I got Player of the Year over him. But Phil became a McDonald's All-American.
Yep.
And went on to Duke and had a great career there. But it was intense. Mm-hmm. Our rivalry was intense. But I always seemed to come out on top. My senior year. But I tell you what, not a better player to play against. Mm-hmm. As a rivalry. And I mean, Phil was great as a high school player. He was great as a college player too.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Phil. We miss you, brother.
Yeah, we do miss you.
Yeah.
And this is a great lesson in that Kendall knew what he wanted. He didn't get the pub, but he just kept working. Mm-hmm. And he kept working. And he said something that I want you guys to understand. Iron sharpens iron. So he wasn't LeBron James taking his talent somewhere else where there were other players.
Right.
He and his brother stayed at Rich Central and got to the state championship game. How do I know that? They beat us in the state tournament. And so Kendall was busting on the scene, but the whole time that he was busting on the scene, he kept working. Yeah. So you young players, you're looking at a guy who made himself into a pro. Kendall was not a pro coming out of high school. No. He did not have the accolades. We got to Illinois, and I'm not sure that Lou Henson knew how good you were until maybe your sophomore year.
No, yeah, he didn't know. I really don't think he knew until my junior year. Until the summer after my sophomore year, I stayed down in school. Of course, we all stayed down at school and went to summer school because, you know, back in those days, we only took 15 hours a semester. We wanted to graduate. So we used to make up those hours in the summertime. Y'all get a lot of information today. So we used to make up those hours and so that we could graduate on time. Back in the days when a degree meant something, when you went to college, and we weren't one and done and things like that. We valued our education, but I stayed down the summer after my sophomore year, and I worked on my game diligently. And I'm just like, you know, man, I knew Marcus Liberty was coming in. Okay, Marcus Liberty was the #1 player in the nation, and we had just signed him to come to the University of Illinois. And I knew Marcus was coming to get my spot. Okay? Everybody predicted that. And I was like, nah, that ain't happening.
Not gonna
I was like, that's not gonna happen. If he's gonna get somebody's spot, he's gonna get somebody else's.
Sure.
You know, he's not getting mine.
Right.
So I put in the work, and you know, I came back, and I think that's really when Coach Henson recognized it, because I went from a Harold's Chicken All-American to a McDonald's All-American. I always say that. A Harold's Chicken All-American to a McDonald's All-American in 6 months. And you know, I came back, and you know, Steve, I felt like our first practice at Huff Gymnasium. We didn't practice always at Assembly Hall, which is now the State Farm Center. We practiced at Huff Gymnasium, which is an old gym where the basketball games used to be back in the 40s, I believe.
That's right.
So our first practice, I never forget. I came there and I was dominant, you know, and I was like,
I remember that.
I was like, I felt like I was in the top 2 or 3 players on the team at that time, you know. And I was like, you know, I put in the work, and I'm not going to be denied. Nobody's taking my spot.
Now, there's a pattern emerging in this interview. Kendall's not highly ranked in high school, puts in the work, and he gets to where he wants to go. He gets to college. Again, there's a pecking order, and he continues to work. There's a book out by Angela Duckworth called Grit, Grit. I want you guys to go get it, or look at it online. There's excerpts. Kendall's a living example of what grit really is. It's not about being talented. It's about working, consistent work.